Ladies and gentlemen, how you all doing? This is Ulrich.
This is Rangaroo. Hello, hello, hello.
And folks, Division 2 play here again for SDL material. Today on Orshi East. Rang, who do we have? What are they bringing?
On the left-hand side, in the blue, we have ourselves a Noob playing the 26th Panzer Division. Right-hand side in red, we have Stardekk playing the Finnish Panzer Division.
Exactly. So, of course, Finns, you know what's going to happen, folks. So, we've seen these guys before. We know what they can do. And the answer is with tanks, surprisingly a good amount. But I'm more excited to see the 26 Panther here because the 26 Panther, I think, probably has some of the most fun, recon vehicles with like, oh yes, we're bringing P4s and P3s. They're just recon tanks, though.
We just give Hans some binoculars and he's good to go.
Yeah, dude, we've all taken that perk. I completely understand that. Also love the Gladiator that's out here. Just kind of chilling, doing his things, going in circles. And with Jakari's kind of matching up against Losttroopin, even though this guy just had Berettas, it's getting started early.
Yeah, the Jakari puts actually not that great of a headray, but at the same time, we don't have the rest of the reinforcements here from Noob to set up here. Those Panther Grenadiers, if he can just keep the distance, he should do pretty damn good. And I do like how he has microed his Berettas to be outside the building, so he can jump on in and actually throw the Finns a Molotov cocktail party, rather than vice versa.
Exactly. Though down south, it looks like the air shots are trooping. Ooh, look, air shots opening.
Mm-hmm.
Is gonna find himself running afoul of a giant kind of wave of Finns. Like, that is like Jaws level of scary, had that many Finns in the water.
Yeah, it's actually quite surprising seeing such a lack of troops from Noob's position here. It seems like he's very happy to just let that position go, because, yeah, just looking up north. I don't know where he's really trying to push. He's got some decent stuff up north, like far north, but nothing to really push through that much. I guess he really just wants to try and clear out the central hilltop position, because you're going to have to, trade the south for some other part of the map and get that to work.
Oddly enough, though, with all the T-26s and T-26Cs, well, the Bs and Cs, I don't know that that's going to be the easiest thing to do. Not from a material perspective, a P3 is against a T-26, because of course this guy should be able to take 8 days a week. But it takes time, and that time can be spent by the Finns to do things like seize a position pretty easily.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it seems right now Stardekk is very happy just setting up a, close quarters, easy defense, not going to be investing too much in the central position. And those T-26s are in a perfect spot, using that hill as cover. They can pop on over, get a couple shots, and then just pop on back. And that close quarters, that's only a 45 mil, but it can still go through a Panther 3.
Yes, and there's not a whole lot of scariness until you get to the Panther A Führers or the Panther Ace over here in P phase. And right now, Stardekk is not really going to be going up against this, is he?
So, no, he is not.
P3 is, of course, going to be finding out exactly right about now as the Latis over here going to engage. And the T-26 is going to do that thing where they're going to kind of creep on up and start to engage and fire their pop guns.
Mm-hmm. And if he can just, leverage all of them at the same time, he should be able to get 1 or 2 of these P3s, but he's not able to do that right now. Okay, he's got the other one being brought on through. He needs as many T-26s as possible firing on those Panthers. But it seems the Panthers are going to get the better in this. Oh, no, actually.
No. 2 for 2.
This is why we never say anything during the cast, because they always get it wrong.
But and honestly, trading 2 T-26s for 2 P3Ls, like, thank you very much. I will happily do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because... Yeah, it's actually a rough trade. 30 points
like
40.
5-1. Yeah, exactly. 80 for 80. Because there's 2 P3s.
Oh, 2 P3s. No, yeah, that's very true.
Now looking down south as well. Yes, there's MG42 down there. Big freaking deal. Ooh, Farframen, there we go. That actually makes sense. Unfortunately for them, T-26s have, well, they've been wearing their brown pants, so they're getting away very, very quickly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a pretty damn good strike, and so much the positioning of it. Unfortunately, Stardekk, was able to relocate his T-26s, but I think it's more just to buy himself some time. so he can clear up the rest of the... Actually, not that much Finnish infantry left on the hilltop.
No, but he's also lost another tank up here to the Pack 38 that's just been sitting on top of that bridge. So the Pack thing, he's going to go down. The Kigran's going to engage him enough that he's going to be forced back and probably unto death. But okay, cool. I'm happy. Every single time I take out one of your heavy tanks and you can't do jack to me, that works perfectly.
Yeah, so far it doesn't feel like it's been a great opener here from Noob, especially given up the far south is getting him to lose the point advantage. It's a 13-11. He does have a decent amount of stuff on the field. I mean, if you look up north, we got two different types of Stardekks, but not of the German variety, the Panther 3, Panzer 4. He has a decent amount of fire support here, probably a little bit more infantry. He can make a pretty decent push into the two-flag farmstead.
He could. I think that right now he is aware that there probably could be some of the Sturmy over here. The Sturmy right now can kill everything on the field. Now, kind of amusingly, the Sturmy can't hit the Stug, and that's why he's getting forced on back right about now. But actually, this actually might be the first time I've seen the Stug M43. I literally don't think we've ever seen it used by any single 26th Panzer player.
No, it's because it's a runoff unit. You only get a single run, not just in a division, but the entire bloody game. It's basically just a massive Italian like anti-aircraft naval gun on the back of a tank.
Yes.
It wasn't very good, but that's right. They didn't build many of them. But it's good as an anti-tank gun, a tank destroyer, you could say. At long range, especially against Finns, they can just shoot them, outrange them as well, which helps out quite a bit.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest issue, of course, is that it doesn't carry a whole lot of shells. Like it competes with an IS-2 in terms of its scarcity. Verfrom looking to fire a third time or fourth time. This guy's been reloading like crazy, which, I mean, you kind of need to do. But I'm trying to figure out exactly what Noob is expecting to do. Because right now, he should be having the advantage, and he's losing points. Like, this is not how this is supposed to run.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at the defensive line here from Stardekk in the center, it's really not that deep, but it's mainly just the positioning. Those tanks are in a good position where they can threaten any push because they can just pop over the hill and destroy stuff in close quarters. I think Noob is definitely focusing a bit more on his northern push. He's starting to get some infantry into that farmstead, and if he can capture both, it should bring it back to a 12-12, and if he can keep on pushing, he should do decently, at the same time you're up against Finns and Yukari spams in forest. Well, don't really need to say much else apart from that.
True. Looking down to the south side again too, so I'm kind of wondering again from the other perspective too. What do the Finns do? Where do the Finns push? And right now, I mean, the best call they can make is what they're doing, which is, hi, I have a Ju-87, you can't do jack to me, and I'm going to take out your tank destroyers whether you like to or not, because you can't stop me.
I'm guessing also right now for Stardekk, he's going to be waiting for that B phase income, because he's going to have the advantage here. Oh, J87 going for the Stug, and...
Yep.
Well, yeah, the Stug has no reverse gear, or really much of a forward gear to begin with, so he was not going to evade yet.
And T-26 is in, not the open, but in the trees, honestly, obliterating even that tiny little push over here from Noob's Pigrens. And that's kind of the issue, isn't it? Is that the T-26s, despite being beyond light vehicles, are still effective light vehicles.
They're very cost of, like, for 15 points, I mean, it's the same price of an ersatz troop, but they're not disheartened, they're more faster, they have a cannon and machine gun, and they're bulletproof.
True. Now, the bulletproof is merely proof of bullets. Unfortunately, they're not proof against anything else. But regardless, it's worth mentioning.
Yeah, it's like an asterisk, at the bottom of an ad. It's like small bullets only. Big bullets doesn't count.
Yes, exactly. Please don't use anything scary.
Yeah.
But here we are, 13-11. We are going into B phase, so this is where things are going to get really, really dicey in my mind for Stardekk. Or actually, rather, more opportunities for him, as I meant to say for his opponent here with Noob. because he's going to go down a significant number of points. Yes, there's still going to be a couple of pickups here and there in terms of just like the middle flag on the map. We're back to a 12-12. But this is when you start to see swathes of Kivaris and more Jakaris and frankly, even Sturmies being brought to the map.
Yeah, it's just right. Gets quite interesting now because Stardekk is on a pretty good job playing a safe phase. He's, hasn't overextended. He's traded somewhat well. Now coming to the B phase with the income advantage, he should be able to make something happen. Noob still has a decent amount of stuff left on the field. There's quite a decent amount of tanks up north, and in the center, he has the Panther A. But all it takes is one JR-87, and those German tanks will get blown up by a German plane.
True. I'm watching the P3 over here, going to engage if I kill two T-26s. Maybe the last shot. Ooh, mutual destruction. So, like you said, that's the case right there, where, again, I lose two T-26s, you lose a P3. Okay, I've won. Thank you.
Yeah. You can really afford to be making those trades, and still Stardekk hasn't even really had to dip much into the quote-unquote heavy tank pool, which Panther division has, which really just medium tanks. And especially as we get into a later game, being able to, just use up your T-26s early so you can rely more on Stoomies and T-34-76s and B and C phase is ideal. Oh, bit of a furball.
Honestly, I was just fascinated. I was looking at the division over here again to just remind myself the fact that with 170 points, we can bring in 10 T-26s. Actually, even more than that with a single tick of income. So I'm excited for that.
Yeah, that's a few tanks.
Please. Exactly. Faka Wolf over here just kind of doesn't have the same kind of agility that he needs to pursue this BF-109s as get pushed back. And that central neck, that northern piece that's upside down right now, that neck right there. I wonder if we're going to start to see a south push from these Kaivaris, or if they're going to move to the west. I'd like to think they're going to move south, just from the way that, well, what they should be doing anyway. But, well, I've tried to call it before, and like you said, every single time we open our mouths over here for this week's stuff, has not happened. So let's just kind of content ourselves to wait for a moment, I suppose.
Yeah, definitely a southern push here would be a very good idea, because infantry, Finns, close quarters, you know the whole spiel. He can get into here, secure that town. It gives him some good leverage to being able to put fire support down to the rest of this central push and slow it down. He just needs to buy himself time, because then some of his force from Noob will have to redirect to deal with the northern town, because you really can't afford to be, making that push to capture the hill if the northern part of the hill is not under your control.
True. Now, we are going to see the Verf armament potentially will actually kill some stuff over here, and the edge of it is actually aiming for more than one thing at this point, which is kind of great. But at the same token, we are going to see a JU-87. I don't know if he's going for the P3 or he's going for the Panther. My guess is the Panther right now.
Yeah.
Yes, he is. The softball's miss.
He dodges it. That's a micro, right? Yeah.
That certainly is. Gepard trying to go after the guy who went after his big brother. Might be able to pull this off, but if he does, big deal. There's still another one.
I think a big problem here as well as the match goes on is Noob doesn't have a great anti-aircraft neck in his deck. He only really has the Gepard and then two of the Flak Verlin half-track. He does have one card of fighters, and I think he's going to have to start using them a little bit more, because that's going to be his best way to be deterring those JU-87s, because he needs those things bloody dead so he can actually maneuver his Panthers about, because he did get another run. These Panthers are huge leverage of fire support, but they can't provide much fire support if they're being clustered all over.
True. And it's kind of the issue, isn't it? Is that this is always been a question of where and how can I concentrate my forces as opposed to where my enemy wants me to concentrate my forces. Now, we are going to see a bit of a push on that central hillside. You can see 4 Jakaris being brought on in. The Kaivaris over here are going to be engaged by air slash troop, and that's only as one outcome. And that's fine. But we'll see how this kind of all plays out.
No, so Stardekk hasn't been playing all that aggressive, like we said, but that slow trading definitely feels like he's getting the better of it right now, because he still has a lot of... Well, actually in the center he's taken some casualties, but he... I think
So,
just Noob just needs to be more aggressive. Like, he has stuff.
yes.
He just needs to, you know, back up the tanks with some infantry, you know, or infantry in front, that is, and just try to position himself, and especially in the central position, in the more far open ranges of the map, so he can take advantage of the long, powerful anti-tank guns.
That's true, but I feel there's more of one kind of stuff going out than there is stuff coming in for Stardekk. Like, yes, there's a Panther A on the field. Scary. Yes, there's a Flock Wolf coming in at 190. Also, scary. But there's Pack 40s over here. We have, you know, T-3045. Yeah, he is certainly, let's say, aggressively outgunned and out-armored. But there's still other ones that can be brought in to support. But we still have things that can actually come in and just kind of carpet bomb the, you know, the entire ground and do very, very well there. I want to kind of see this Kaivari push over here. The Kaivari and the Chikari against those two Sauce troops. I feel like this is going to be very, very telling for the rest of the game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's going to be such a good position if he does manage to control it. You also see Noob bringing in a pretty decent assault up north to try to capture the rest of the farmstead. It's really going to come down to the few sub-units, mainly those Panthers. If he can, you know, blow up the finish line, he's even got a reared Italian big bomber plane to do some big bombing. But yeah, what's it called? Lati 62, whatever. Actually doing some damn good suppression.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Okay, but the push comes in, and while the Kaivaris are going to push off the northern edge of this hilltop, these Jakaris are not going to. I mean, the Stosh Troopmen are good, they're just not good enough to deal with all of this.
Yeah, they're pretty beefy troops. Not beefy troops, they have good equipment with the Molotovs and the Beretta combo. They're like half-squad Marrows, essentially, but there's just too many Akaris, and as we know, of the Finnish infantry, Oshumois do have really good stats.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. And literally almost getting hand-to-hand combat, legitimately hand-to-hand. And the hill is actually very much now in Stardekk's favor.
Mm-hmm. No,
what
it's
you do now?
fantastic.
Exactly. And then you're going to try to bring the Shogun in, bring the IG-18s. Okay, yeah, sure, fine, whatever. But that's still going to take you time, and you don't have the time.
Yeah. Especially now if Stardekk can get a machine gun or two, maybe even an anti-tank gun in the forest just next to the hill. That gives them a, you know, another good position to stop any of these armor advantages in the center. Because, as you've seen, all the tanks in the center can't really do anything. Tank up north is...
Panther dodges 3 of them.
Can't touch it.
Dang, son. All right.
Wow, that's really good for Noob. He cannot afford to lose those Panthers, so they get to live another day and continue to fight.
That's true, but we have the Finnish version of a Panzer Kyle over here on the northern side. As we have, is it 5 T-26s, 1 armored car, and a Sturmy. So if that goes to the front, that's going to be amusing as all get out. And it's going to be, I think, actually surprisingly potent if used correctly.
Yeah, you basically just use the T-26s as, I don't know, like ablative armor, so to speak. External ablative armor, which is also independent of its own movement. As you just move them in front, they take the hits, and the Sturmy just does all the killing. Well,
just now the ISU-152 did some killing, taking out, what was that over there? There's a Jagdpanzer kind of engaging him. So, really, really well done there. And as the Finns continue to just kind of get more and more troops online, yes, they're losing a ton of men. Yes, they are technically outclassed by the fighting vehicles of the 26th Panzer, but their infantry doesn't seem to care about that very much.
No, he's holding pretty damn well, as you see a lot of the Finnish dudes mainly just trying to hold in the forest and DQC locations, because Panzer Grenadiers do not do well in that sort of fighting. And yeah, just the position of the T-26s, all of that. He's really playing the map to his advantage, using the hills and the forest effectively.
And now the Finnish Panzer column moves out, engaging an IG-18 and an MG-42. Oddly enough, to think that the IG-18 is the scariest thing on this side of the map, that's kind of not saying much for what the 26 Panthers really got in the area.
No, it's perfect, like, push here as well, because This is very much the weak spot in Noob's line. I'd be curious to see if he does actually flank around, if he can kill the Panther with the Sturmy, because at close range that thing can be quite deadly.
Well, I just love seeing 2 Stewards worth of machine gun fire going towards that Pioneer.
God damn.
Like, that is terrifying to go under. And 2 Chikari's moving on in, so yeah, this is another kind of very, very easy pickup there. 5 more squads of infantry being thrown to the northern side. Kind of trying to stabilize the line on that neck. They have lost part of the neck, but they're gaining more and more territory to the northern side. Panther rotates, good call there. Pack 40 also rotates, an excellent call on that one as well. So, hopefully the Sturmy is not the thing running point. No, he's going to take a much more hunter-killery position, which is exactly what he needs to do.
He actually got another Panther up north, which I'm not really a big fan of his purchase here. I think it's way too overkill. What he needs is infantry and recon to really screen his line. That one Panther, he's been hit up a little bit, but it should be enough to do majority of the killing himself.
In fact, he doesn't need to kill the Panther. He doesn't. Yeah, if he loses the tanks up here, that sucks, but he's made his point. He's scared his opponent, and that's what he's got to do. And now we have 2 Ju-87s. They are both getting tasked? No, they're being tasked with the 2 Panthers. Watch this 1-2 combo. This is gonna suck.
I know, Panther's been pretty good at dodging before.
Well, one's already died.
Rip.
So this one goes down. I imagine we see quite a unique response here. Death.
Yeah, nothing's going to evade that pattern.
Which is funny. On the other side, we have the weird, 1007 Tur take care of the Sturmy with its own kind of bombs here. So, if you're heavier than a T-26, you don't belong on the northern front. Is what I'm seeing.
Yeah, you don't want anything too heavy, otherwise it'll sink into the ice lake.
True. But we're starting to see, I think, on every single front, the Germans are getting pushed back, and not like insignificantly either.
No, it's just coming down once again to the reliant on super units. Because those Panthers and Jagdpanzers are bloody scary, but he hasn't been able to really leverage them in any good geographical location where he can actually take advantage of the long-range firepower. So you just have a lot of points bottled up, not really doing much to influence the actual battlefield.
And I think Noob saw that over here and kind of said, you know what, guys, it's time to call it, which I agree.
Actually, very close in kills. He actually got more kills.
Because I think it was one of those things where, again, the Finns lost a number of smaller, less valuable units. I mean, on paper. But, by the same token, if you go the other direction with it, the Germans go and lose a significant number of much more expensive material. So, in any particular case, what would you care to bring a little bit further forward, sir? Any final thoughts?
Nothing really.
So a quick look over here at the kills. Like I said, not really a whole lot of scariness other than the ISE 152, who picked up a couple of nice kills between the Italian Stug and Jagdpanzer, so well done there. And losses, the Werfrahmen did decently well, picked himself up on his anti-air platforms, the Panzer Joachim over here. Sturmy, T-26, and the Soltka, 76. The Panther. So, I mean, the Panthers did do their work, so unfortunately nobody else was able to go and carry their part of the bag, so to speak.
They had a heavy burden.
Indeed. Very, very heavy burden. But in that case then, folks, until next time, it's always fun to be with you guys. Until next time, though, I'm Connell Work.
I'm Angru. Take it easy.